Hello. I was distracted. Hello, hello. Hope everything is sounding and looking good. Let me see what I can see and what I can double check. By the way, if you're live and you can hear me, please let me know so I can make sure. Yeah, my microphone is working. This should be good. Hello and welcome to this masterclass, How to Get Certainty on the Impact You Were Born to Make. This is something that is very, very near and dear to my heart. As I shared in the post, introducing this, I have been on this journey of finding my purpose for pretty much 20 years now. I was around 15 when I first started getting into this. So it's been a while and I've learned a lot along that journey. It doesn't mean that, okay, it's working. It doesn't mean that I always knew, what I was doing and I was always concentrating on it, that for 20 years, that's all I concentrated on. That's not the thing, but it's been like this thread throughout my life of what is my purpose? What is my purpose? Okay, so we're going to dive in. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. Given I am on my old computer, which I didn't think was that old. I thought it was functioning really well, but it's 9 years old, almost 10. And now I got my laptop, so my laptop works so much better, except I can't use it because I blocked social media on it for 24 hours, and the 24 hours is not over and I can't unblock it. So we're using my computer, and if you see a cursor going by that says Shadia Janssen, that's because I also have my laptop where I can share what I'm about to share on, okay? So here we are. This is what we're going to tackle, okay? We're going to tackle my experience, the new way to find your purpose that doesn't require complicated strategies, how to connect to wisdom that's beyond your time here on Earth without DNA and family tree research. And lastly, we'll cover the no-fluff, straightforward strategy to unlock your purpose. Okay, that's how we're about to do it. So, and I'm going to be mapping out everything as we go along because I'm a very visual person, and I've been using this visual approach for a while now. And so I thought, let me just bring it all together. Okay, so we're going to be visual. I'm going to be creating this as we go along. And I'm excited. Okay, let me know if you're excited too. Let me know. So I was around 15-ish. I don't remember the exact age when my dad got me into this book by Miles Monroe. I think it was called Pursuit of Purpose. And Miles Monroe is a Christian author. And yeah, that's how I got into it. And there's 3 or 4 books on this subject. I read, I think, 2 or 3 out of them. And it was very much I was diving deep. I wanted to find my purpose. I wanted to find my future. It was very, very important to me. So I read it through this entire book. A few of them. I believe this is the one that I actually read. In the Pursuit of Purpose. And the thing that was interesting about it is I got very clear on what purpose was and why it's important. It's very important because it helps you get a meaning for life. Something that I remember him saying in this book is that graveyards are a place where you find so much gifts and talents and so much dreams that are buried. They never came to fruition. And for me, I've always been fascinating with life and death. Death has always fascinated me. And recently, I think the reason why that was is because at the age of 3, I drowned. I drowned at the age of 3. And that sounds like a joke in so many ways, but it is literally what happened. And this has, I think, shifted my perspective on a lot of things that I didn't understand because I was 3. And it's something that I didn't, like, literally that night somebody said, we're never going to be talking about this ever again. And so I buried the fact that I drowned really, really deep down, and I didn't, like, go on and on about it. So because of that, I was fascinated with death. And being fascinated with death and life, it's not death, like I'm going to die. I was never fearful of death or anything, but it was like this idea of how do we live life to get to death, you know? It's not, it's how do... And so when the book was talking about purpose in the sense of graveyards are full of gifts and stuff that never came to fruition, it was fascinating me. And at that time, I didn't really know why. Now, what the book suggests is basically you need to find your purpose. I do not remember there was any clarity. There was no clear path. There was no, this is how you should do it. It was like, once you know your purpose, once God tells you your purpose, those type of things, it'll be okay. You will know. And then that would be the thing about it. Now, the reason why I think this is important is because once you know your purpose, you have you can understand the impact that you're here to make, right? Now, purpose, the way that I see it, is it has different names, right? It can be purpose, it can be ikigai. Let me actually use this on my laptop because it'll be so much faster than what we're experiencing right now. And then I don't have to slow down my computer as much. Okay. Except it is not refreshing. Okay, yeah, I can do it. Purpose, ikigai, your big vision, your impact. It could be your big context. It's all of that. And the reason why I bring context into this is because Melanie Ann Layer teaches this from the perspective of context. And she says that when you know your context, you can live through life and move through life from that place easily. And when you know your context, it is this overarching umbrella that anything can fall under. It's like this thing that you continue moving towards no matter what is happening in your life. Because when we look at purpose or any of these things, ikigai, big vision, impact, all that stuff, from a place of it's a goal, it is something that you measure, then you either fail or you succeed, right? But if it is this bigger overarching thing that you know what it is, then any area of your life that you're working on, any area of your life that you're in, you can find more of that, okay? It's not something you can measure. It's not something that you can fail at. it is this big thing that drives you. Okay? So for me, I've talked about it, that for me, it comes down to freedom. Freedom is that one thing for me that I can always go back to and find it as a red line throughout my entire life. My entire life, I have been moving towards freedom. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing, right? When I had a job, I was trying to move towards freedom. Back then, more so financial freedom. Now that I'm in business, I am moving more towards time freedom and financial freedom. When I was younger, it was freedom from the mindset that my parents were trying to force upon me. It was freedom from constantly questioning everything around me. There was always a certain type of freedom that was coming through. And allow me to stop sharing for a moment as I check in on the comments and stuff. No, we're good. So that it was it, right? And you might be in that place right now where you're like, I don't really know what that is for me. No problem. We're going to figure that out. And I'm going to teach you how to figure that out. But the thing about how to figure it out, what I realized is that it's not just my lifetime, right, that I move towards freedom. It is also freedom was a thing before I was born. It is in my lifetime. So let me move this out of the way, and I'll say freedom was a thing before I was born. It is a thing during my lifetime, and it is a thing, the impact that I want to leave. So when we're talking about, what is the impact that you're supposed to leave here, which is the reason for this entire Livestream experience, is because this, right? This is where we want to get to. This is the big kahuna, the big thing. And so looking at it from, it was a thing before I was born, it was a thing throughout my lifetime, and it is where I want to, what I want to leave behind. That is what gives me the clarity, because there is no way to disprove this. There is not a single part of my life where you can look at things and be like, Shadia wasn't moving towards freedom. And it might be something little, it might be something big. You can zoom out, you can zoom in, you can zoom all around. It will still be the exact same thing. Okay, so that is very important. Now let's go back to the second part. So I talked about my experience. Now let's get into the new way to find your purpose that doesn't require complicated strategies. So if we're looking at that, let me write that down so we know. The new way to It's weird working with two computers to find your purpose that doesn't require complicated strategies. Okay, that's what we are looking at. And it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward because I already spoke about it. You know, it is, you look at what came before you. You look at what's going on in your life right now. No, that's not what's going on in your life. What's what's been happening in your life, and what you desire for the future. More specifically, the impact that you desire for the future. Let me shift that here. When you look at those things, it becomes something that can't be disproved. It becomes that overarching theme that I was talking about. It becomes a guarantee that everything is working out exactly as it's supposed to. Because you don't have to doubt it anymore. You know what it is. And also, because I see this oftentimes, people are like, oh, I can't work towards my purpose yet. I can't work towards my impact yet. You don't need to work towards it. You are being it, right? It's deeply ingrained in your being, in your DNA, and who you are, and how you function, and what's important to you, and all of that. So there might be certain things that you look at that, how do I say, that you look at that's like, oh, I want to do this. So let's look at some examples from my own life, right? Let me make this yellow, right? Some examples from my own life. I wanted to be a missionary. Wanted to help people, to help the world actually, as a missionary. That was my goal. But if I look at that, it might be something like, oh, that might be your purpose. That might be your thing. And for a long time, I thought that was my purpose and that was what I had to work towards. But what happened is I ended up not being a missionary anymore. The way that it happened was with visas and stuff that I couldn't stay as a missionary. And right now I wouldn't want to be a missionary because I don't consider myself a Christian anymore, like all those things. But does it mean that my purpose ended? And also, did it end because I couldn't find the correct visas and stuff to stay as a missionary at that time? No, my purpose didn't end there, right? It didn't end. But the reason I wanted to become a missionary was freedom. I wanted to help people of the world be free. But then again, it didn't end there, right? Then I decided to go into, what was the next thing? There's like so many things. Then I was looking for financial freedom. So I had 2 jobs when I came back. And the reason why is, financial freedom that I was looking for at that time. But that came at the sacrifice of time freedom. So then eventually I started a business. Great. That was giving me financial freedom. That was the reason why I wanted. No, it was giving me time freedom, mostly time and financial freedom at that time. But then I did not have a lot of time to deal with PTSD and things that I was experiencing. So then I quit. I completely quit everything in order to get mental health freedom. Right? And I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But every time, see, there's different things. I did it for the finances. I did it for the time. I did it for the mental health. I did all of that. But the driving force is freedom. And it is the thing that excites me. It's the thing that I desire to create. It's all of that all at the same time. So then, This is the new way of looking at things. The new way of saying, hey, I'm going to look at my purpose by looking at the connecting dots that connects all of this together. Because also, when you know the type of impact you want to leave in the world, the type of impact you want to leave in your own life, then it becomes very easy to go, to make decisions. It becomes very easy to drive you in certain directions, right? Like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Well, my body might want to stay, how do I say? My body wants to take a break, and I give my body that a break because that is wellness freedom. But then I continue because it is very important to me in my current business, Freedom Alchemist. It is to bring, it's an impact freedom, right? Leave an impact of freedom. So it's not just freedom for me, it's freedom for everyone else involved as well. That is what it's like. It's like it's all of it at the same time. So if we go back to up here, it's pretty easy to look at what's been happening in your life because you lived that life, right? Nobody else lived that life but you. And then you look at okay, no, wait. It's easy to look at what's been happening in your life. It's also pretty simple to kind of start looking at the desires for the future. So what are the things that you desire for the future? And how does that connect to the things that's been happening in your life, the decisions you've been making, the things that excite you, the direction that you're constantly moving towards? Okay? Now that brings us to something else, and that is the third thing that I want to look at here, and that is how to connect to wisdom that's beyond your time on Earth without DNA and family tree research. So that is right here. And I'm going to have to make this bigger because we're running out of space. But this is why I love this, because I can do that. We do not run out of space. Okay, so we're looking at this now. How to connect to wisdom that's beyond your time here on Earth without DNA and family tree research. So if you've done your DNA, that's great. I haven't, and I really want to. And I mean here by DNA in regards to where you come from, like those things that you see on Ancestry.com and those type of things, right? You can see where you come from, what area that is, who you're related to, all that stuff. Then there's also family tree research. There is a lot of people that have done this. You can see who you're related to and all that stuff. The thing that's interesting, one of the downfalls of family tree research, right, is it's never 100% accurate. It happens often that somebody had a baby with somebody else and somebody else is their parent or whatever. It's never 100% accurate. Even if it is accurate, something that you can't find in either your DNA or your family tree is this idea that you don't know what people are thinking. Oh, shoot. Okay. We good. Why is this doing that? Oh, okay. Maybe I can't do that. You don't know what people are thinking, what they were experiencing, and how they were feeling about things. And you basically have no access to their wisdom. And this has been very intriguing to me because I have been doing family tree research. And as much as it's very exciting, I had to check something. As much as it's very exciting and all that stuff, something that it doesn't have is all of this, the experiences, the what people are thinking, the wisdom, all that. And this, I'm talking now of people that have DNA and have like an extensive family tree research. Even then, it's not enough. Or not that it's not enough. You do not have all the details, right? Now, something that, I'm going to move that out of the way. Something that is very interesting, though. Wait, I lost my train of thought for a moment. Something that's interesting about the past, right? The past ancestors used to pass down stories orally. But this practice doesn't happen as much. In fact, when it comes to modernity, when it comes to the things that happen in the European Enlightenment that really affects the entire earth, the entire world, but mostly people from the West, there is this cutout from there's nothing that happens before you. Basically, what you see is what you get. If you can see it, it's the truth. If you can't see it, it's not the truth. And so that ideology then has disconnected so many people from their ancestors. And I'm talking now people that, just lived and have had kids and made decisions. If you have a background in something like transatlantic slavery or wars or holocausts or genocides and even all those type of things like cleansing, how do you call that? I can't find it. It's a thing that they say is happening the thing that is happening in Palestine right now. Ethnic cleansing, those type of things, you do not have that information. So there's two reasons why we do not have this information. Reason one, modernity. And reason two, that we do not have this information, it didn't connect, is stuff happened, shit happened. Like, let's put it that way. And when shit happened, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it. When shit happened, part of your ancestry was lost. So how do we, with all these problems, right? You don't know if it's accurate, at least with family tree research. You don't know where people were thinking, feeling, or experiencing. In regards to that, we don't know. We don't have the stories because modernity and shit happened. How do we get all of that? And that is, we can connect within, right? The solution is we connect within. Not within. Within. Let's change that color. Actually, let's give it that red from my oh, I need to stop doing that. It's a bit crazy because I'm doing it on two computers, but we connect within. That's the solution. So how do we connect to wisdom that's beyond our time here on earth? We connect within. We connect within. We can tap into a wisdom that is beyond our years. We can tap into information that we didn't know existed. We can tap into so much through looking internally. In fact, even if somebody has done certain things that doesn't make sense anymore, or that's like quote unquote bad or isn't that great, you can connect within and see where they are right now, because we are spirits living in a physical body. That's what we are. So when this body dies, the energy, the spirit of who we are continues living. And that then informs, or that can change, like that spirit can evolve throughout time. That spirit can also come back in another body. That's why people have past lives. That's why we have all of these things that are happening. Okay? So there is so much stuff there to, how do I say, to unfold, to connect with, to learn. And it doesn't have all the limitations of it not being accurate, not knowing what people are thinking, stories passed down. It doesn't have none of that. Okay? But it has exactly what we need. And it's not like, the thing about it is when you connect within, it's not like you go to a library and then you pick up this big encyclopedia, and then you have to encyclopedia. That's the English word for it. But you have to look through everything and find all this information and be like, ooh, what do I do with all this information? No, when you connect within, when you learn how to do that, you can get the exact information that you need and ask specifically for a specific thing and connect like that, right? And I just did this. I do this regularly, but I did a meditation on, connecting to your ancestry through for Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead, a Mexican tradition. And what came out of it was very powerful again. I actually connected to one of my ancestry that was a slave owner that enslaved people. And I was like, that's shitty. What you did was shitty. How do you feel about it now? And she was saying, I regret that. And I've been doing this and doing that. I don't remember everything exactly. But that gave me peace too. Of like, my bloodline doesn't just have shitty people in it. And it does have some, but it also have incredible people. And even if you were shitty here on Earth, you can still continue evolving. And it's very, very interesting when that happens. And also, what's also interesting, we can connect to beings that we might not be related to as well. So it's not just like, oh, you can connect to your ancestry. You can also connect to people that is not part of your ancestry. Allow me for a quick moment to check on everything and see if everything is working correctly. Wait. Okay. It is. We're good. And so now that we know all of that, right? So the last thing that I promised in this live stream that you're going to get is this computer, man. The no-fluff, straightforward strategy to unlock your purpose. Let me share my screen so you can see it. Here we go. Okay, the no fluff, straightforward approach to unlocking your purpose, to find the impact that you were supposed to make. This, and the reason why I say it's a no fluff, straightforward approach, because as you remember when I was talking about Miles Monroe and his book and all this stuff, that I kept reading the books trying to like understand, how do I find my purpose? Given that at 15 years old, life experience hasn't really kicked in that much, so that might have been another thing. But I do believe that you could even do this work with children and start to understand their purpose. Like if you're somebody that has children, you can start mapping this out for them. Because also if we connect our past, right? If we go back here and we say, you look what came before you, what's been happening in your life, and what impact you desire to do in your future. Once you do yours, it becomes easier to do your children, because even though the connection within them, by the way, I called the connection between all these things legacy lines, even though the legacy lines between the child and who came before them and what they're here to leave is different than yours, there's still the facts of who came before that child is information you have after you've done it for yourself, right? Like, what my children are going to come from is literally my life and my partner's life. The only thing that might be different is the partner aspect of things, right? Because you have to also look at what your partner comes from, the child's other half, where they come from. And actually, oh yeah, no, we're good. Let me put it all together. The no fluff, straightforward to connect to your purpose. It comes down to remembrance. Remembering who you were before you were born. Remembering who you are. And remembering the impact you're supposed to leave. And you might be thinking, how can I remember anything about the future? Here's where it gets interesting, right? People that are spiritually connected, people that are intuitive, have said over and over again that they were able to connect to their children before they were born. This is not something for women alone. It's not something for men alone. It's not something for when you're pregnant. It can happen even before you're pregnant, right? So then you're connecting to somebody that's not there yet. And I can attest that I have been able to do some of that with at least one of my future children. And I'm not pregnant. Like, people were joking about that last week because I went out to eat and I had nothing to drink, which is pretty normal for me. I don't drink very often. It's a wonder when I drink, not when I don't drink. So you have to remember the impact you're supposed to leave. So going back to connecting to a child, to a future child, that means you can connect to the future because that child does not exist as yet in the now. And that means that you can bring information from the future in the now. Great. Why do I use the word remembering specifically? I use that word because there is a version of you out there that has already achieved all this stuff. And you can connect to that version of yourself and find out information about now. And so if you're connecting to a future version of you, you're remembering what happened in between. You know, I'm using my hands. Why am I using my hands if I can draw it? So let me do it like this, okay? This is you, okay? This is you now. Then there is, let me see. Let's put this picture of an angel, right? That's the future version of you. There is you, and then there's a future version of you. Once you connect to this version, you then start to become this person. And then you can remember what happened from here to here. You're remembering this part. This is the remember zone. And that's what it means then to remember who the impact you're supposed to leave. Okay? So you're remembering who you were through, let me draw some of this so that it's very, very clear when we're going about it. Okay? You remember who you were connecting within and asking questions. You remember who you are through life experiences. And you remember the future the way that I just drew it for you, which is right here. You remember all of it. Let me change the colors here so that, okay. You remember. That is the way that you unlock your purpose. Very straightforward. Very clear how to do that. But you might be wondering then, okay, how? Right? Like, how does all this happen? Good question. Good question. You do the work. I literally told you, you connect within asking questions, right? This is the how. You connect within, you ask questions, you look at your life experiences, and you connect with, you remember the future. That's that. Now, it's pretty simple and straightforward. But if you are in that position right now and you're like, yeah, kind of cool and all, but I still do not know how, and I still will struggle, and I have all that. How would it feel if I say, I can give you all the resources? How does it feel if I say, I can walk you through the step-by-step? How does it feel if I say, I will be with you along the way? How does that feel to you? If that feels like something that you say, oh my God, yeah, that feels so good, then fear not, I got you covered. Fear not, I got you covered. Let me just look up something real quick before I get into this. But let me know if you have any questions in the meantime, because I just threw a whole lot at you, and you might, if you have questions about it, then let me know. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Okay, I can't find the thing that I'm looking for. Let's see if I can find it. And if not, we're gonna have to do without it. Also, as I said, this whole computer thing is one hot mess. One hot mess. No, I can't find what I'm looking for. That's okay. That's okay. But what I wanted to talk about is the way that I can give you all that I talked about. You know, I can give you all the resources. I can walk you through the step-by-step, and I will be with you along the way, is through the Legacy program. This is a very, very powerful program. It is not a program that you do once. It's a program that you can come back to over and over again. In that program, you will get daily coaching from me. Okay? Oh, shoot. This thing ain't doing what I want it to do. Right? You will get daily Voxer coaching. And if you're wondering what Voxer coaching is, it is, let me make that yellow because the app is actually yellow. You will get daily Voxer coaching from me for 6 weeks. You will get the step-by-step for each level of Legacy. And you will get lifetime access to all of it. All the training, all of it. Okay, so we will walk you through and get the clarity that I got from all of this. As I said, you know, look at it's all freedom related. It's all this, it's all that. You'll be able to figure that out with me by your side through this Legacy program. Now, I got to make it very clear here. Something that I absolutely cannot stand about this coaching industry, and I experienced it yesterday, is this idea of you need me in order to do it. Let's be clear. You do not need me to figure out the impact you're supposed to make. You do not need me. Okay? But if you want the help, if you want the program, if you want all of that, then feel free. Feel free to hit me up, right? And I feel like it's a difference between, hey, I can clean my house, right? I can clean my house, or I can get somebody to help me clean the house. And maybe cleaning house I'm like a little bit more of an expert in, but let's say I want to build a bookshelf. I can figure it out, but I would prefer for somebody to come in and help me because I might end up in the hospital because I am accident prone like that. You know what I mean? So it's up to you. Also, another thing that I want to say, people often say, ooh, you got to create scarcity for people to sign up. This program is going to be ran again. If you don't sign up now, you can sign up in the future. I can't guarantee that the price is going to stay the same, but the program will still be there. So if you're interested in that, let me leave a link for you. Bridget was here live. Are you still there, Bridget? Bridget has gone through this program. heyshada.com/legacy. That is the link for it. I just dropped the link. And Bridget, do, if you can, share, what your experience has been going through that program. It is very, very powerful. We go through the levels of legacy. We walk through it step by step, and it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right. So that is pretty much it on this live stream, on this Livestream Experience. If you happen to have any questions all throughout this program, all throughout this live stream, feel free to drop them in the comments. Oh, you're here, Bridget. Feel free to drop them in the comments. I will get to them ASAP because this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And if we really look at legacy, if we really look, if we look at, how do I say? If we look at purpose and ikigai, or we look at context and we look at all these things, the way that I teach it, it gives you so much freedom, so much space, so much of what you need in order to move through things. And you might be in a period of time where you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. And even if you do the legacy program, you might still be like, I don't really know what I need to go or how I need to do it specifically, which we will be talking about throughout the program too, which you can bring up. But you will see that your entire life is here for you to leave one specific legacy. And once you go that big, once you see things from that higher perspective, you cannot fuck it up. And there is no project, there is no area of your life that will fall away from that. And I want to give one last experience before I move away from this, is my legacy is freedom, right? That's a one-word summary for it. If we look at it from a sentence summary, it is, I'm here to help people experience more freedom by challenging the norms, right? Super cool. At first, I thought that was only for my business. Then, no, actually, when I first discovered this, it was completely away from my business. It had nothing to do with my business. Then I was like, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing in my business. But it's not limiting to my business. And I wanted to I felt called this year, and I was asked to be a part of a racial awareness event. And at first I thought there was like this thing I'm going to be doing on the side. It doesn't align with what I do, but hey, it's super cool. I love the people that are involved, all this cool stuff. One day we were sitting in the event space that we created, and I just realized I am helping people challenge the norms and create more freedom. And more specifically, if I look at it at my business mission statement, is to create safe spaces for people to break free from conformity and create a liberated, exhilarating life. That's also what we did with that event. Big context, big purpose, big ikigai, big, what's that other thing? Zone of genius. It's big, and it's all of you. We think of different areas of our life as if they're separate. They're not. They're all you. You are what brings it all together. You are what brings it all together. Okay? Bridget said, legacy was amazing, enlightening, educational experience for me. I highly recommend it. There you go. There you go. Okay, so I dropped the link. If you have any questions, if you by any chance want to talk to me beforehand, ask. We start tomorrow, but I can leave it open for a few more days, like the sign up open for a few more days if you're interested in that. Okay, that's it for this masterclass, this Livestream Experience, as I call it. Sending you so much love. Peace out and bye-bye.